Yo and hello everybody, Mike here, baseball collector. And today I've got a mail day. And normally on my mail days, I really like to show multiple things and just kind of knock them all out. But today it's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to only show one card today. And the reason I'm showing it is because, and only this one card for my mail today, is because I think it's a card that A, deserves its own video, and B, it's a player that deserves to be talked about more for his contributions to baseball. And so let me just show it, put it out here, and then we'll start talking about it. What we've got here is I think they're 1912, a T207 brown background Tris speaker in a PSA 1. And it's definitely a 1. It's one of those, got a couple creases at the bottom, but rounded corners, but overall it's incredibly well centered. The card presents extremely well. I want to give a big shout out to my good buddy Andrew, the cardboard whisperer, who I called and was looking at getting this card and talked to him about it, and he just said, yeah, it's fantastic. He's a big Red Sox fan, a big speaker fan, and so he was kind of like the perfect guy to talk to about this card. What's great about it is it's incredibly rare, really. The T207s are not nearly as popular as the more famous T206s, and there are only, I think, 55 of these graded by PSA, like in all grades, period. There's only 55 of them graded. And then on the SGC side, there's only another 51 that are graded. And SGC has long been known as the company that is really good at grading pre-war, so you'd think there'd be even more that have been sent to SGC over the years, but that's just not true. So there's just not a ton of this card out there, and I love it for, again, many reasons. It's also part of some sets that I'm working on. It's a card in the 300 Great Cards by Mike Payne set. It's a card I want to try to get at least one Playing Days card of every Hall of Famer. And so this fits the bill for that. And it's one of those cards that in higher grades is incredibly expensive. As a 1, it's at least reasonable. I wouldn't call it cheap, but it was certainly reasonable. And I was really happy to pay it for what I got it for. And just so glad to have a card like this. And now let's talk about Tris Speaker, because Tris Speaker is one of those players that I think gets overshadowed and overlooked for his contributions to the game over his career. I mean, he played a really long time, 22 years or whatever in the major leagues. He's part of that dead ball era, and I think he kind of got drowned out a lot in those days by Napoleon Lajoie and Honus Wagner, Ty Cobb. But really, he was as good as all of them. And I mean that sincerely. He had batted .345 for his entire career, which is 6th all time. That's right. He has 792 career doubles, which is the career record for doubles still, even to this day. He had 3,514 hits, which is 5th on the all-time list. And a lot of guys today, especially the newer, younger guys, they look at these advanced statistics like WAR. And if WAR is your thing and that's how you rank a player, then Tris Speaker might be your guy, because he is 6th all time in career WAR for position players. Yeah, that's right, 6th all time. I mean, up there with Ruth is higher, Bonds is higher, a few guys, but he's got a higher career WAR than Lou Gehrig. So he's one of those guys that I think just, again, gets overlooked. He not only was an amazing hitter, he was also the premier center fielder of his day. His fielding glove was called Where Triples Go to Die. And he played so shallow. He had tons of unassisted double plays from center field and assists and all sorts of stuff. He played very shallow, was incredibly fast, and could track down fly balls just about anywhere. He was just an all-around amazing baseball player. He was actually selected to the Major League Baseball's All-Century team in 1999 as one of the 100 greatest players. Just unbelievable career. If you don't know about Tris Speaker, you need to go learn. Played a lot of his early career with the Boston Red Sox / Boston Americans. He actually led them to World Series championships in 1912 and 1915. Then he got inexplicably traded to the Cleveland Indians and led them to a World Series title, I think in 1920, and was a great player for them, player manager for them for a long, long time. He actually finished his career in 1928 with the Philadelphia Athletics, playing alongside Ty Cobb, no doubt. And so just one of those guys that I think if you don't know about Tris Speaker, you should go learn about him. He was eventually inducted into the Hall of Fame in the second class. He was elected in the second class in 1937, which tells you, again, he had Ruth, Walter Johnson, Christy Mathewson, Honus Wagner, and Ty Cobb in the first class. This guy was in the second. So that should tell you something. Just unbelievable. And he, another great thing, he lived in Texas. He actually went to college here in Fort Worth for a year at what's now known as Texas Wesleyan University. Back then, I think it was like Fort Worth Polytech School or something like that. But so he's a Texan, born here, passed away in Texas as well. So just, again, one of those guys you need to go look at. Great card. Love owning it. So proud to have it. And that's it. That's all I wanted to show you today and talk to you about today. So hope you guys have a great rest of your week. And I'll be talking to you soon. I got lots of cool stuff to show later in the week. Have a good one. Keep collecting.